vibe already. Why are there subtitles on? Okay.
Classic.
Oh, yes. Yes. Okay. I'm liking the vibe so far.
Why is he wearing a hoodie?
They look like Squid Game people. Boom.
They're so proud of themselves. So fat and satisfied.
Oh, yes.
They're everywhere. They're watching me now.
I'm liking the vibe so far.
Soon enough, these days will end.
Oh, there he is.
No.
The Scars Guard.
There will be no rules going forward.
That dude's in everything. Oh, that was Coruscant. I think, hopefully. Yes.
That's what a reckoning sounds like.
That looks good.
That
oh
looks
my
really good.
gosh. Ooh. My birthday month.
That looks so good. Like, honestly,
Ooh.
I think I'm more excited for that than Ahsoka.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's gritty. It has Coruscant. It.
Did we say
I
Coruscant?
love the contrast of like the clean and the dirty, hiding, and everything super bright. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
I like it.
It felt strangely very cultural.
Yeah.
Like,
We're getting a very different taste of Star Wars, which
we're getting
I like.
a lot of flavors, which is kind of what Star Wars is, because
Yeah.
there's so many different planets in the galaxy.
It's a huge melting pot.
Yeah.
Ah, looks so good. I'm very excited for this.
May the Force.
The Force will be with you. Always.
Welcome to Star Wars Uplink, your source for everything Star Wars gaming. Welcome to Star Wars Uplink. I'm your host, Sage Goodwin, and as always, I'm joined by Sydney Laurel. How are you doing?
I'm good.
You ready to talk some Star Wars?
Let's talk
We
some Star Wars.
have so much to talk about.
We do.
Star Wars Celebration. We went camping during Star Wars Celebration.
See how we couldn't go?
Yeah, we decided to go camping. Unable to even see any updates because we didn't have cell service.
Yeah.
So great timing. But today we're going to recap you on all things Star Wars Celebration with a heavy focus on Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Starting to get used to the name,
Yeah, same.
but let's jump in and talk about it.
Just you reconsider playing that message for him.
Woo! Star Wars Celebration was packed full of announcements. Just as like a rundown, we saw Andor, as you kind of saw at the beginning of the podcast episode. We're just playing around with the format a little bit, see what a reaction in the beginning would look like if we want to do that in the future. That looks good. We got an announcement for a Jude Law Skeleton Crew series. More details around Ahsoka. We have so many Star Wars shows.
Oh my
A little bit
gosh.
more details on the Acolyte. Apparently, according to a report by a friend of the podcast, Bespin Bulletin, we're going to be seeing possibly Ezra Bridger on Ahsoka. That could be cool. I'd love to see. You know what just hit me? It's the time frame of Jedi Fallen Order is around the same time that Kenobi is taking place. I would love to see it.
They won't do that though.
I think they would.
Mm.
I mean, from what Ewan said, I think
What do you even say?
we talked about it in a previous episode, which you can check out here, and I'll link it in the description of the podcast episode as well. Talked about how Kenobi could possibly tie into a video game content and could feature stuff like that. Yeah. So I would be totally down for that. But let's kind of talk about Star Wars Jedi Survivor to kick off this episode. And then in the second half of the show, we're going to be talking about Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, Episode 3, and all of our thoughts on that. But let's jump into Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I'm going to rewatch the trailer real quick.
Yeah.
It is only next gen, so PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X, and Windows PC so far. I would assume Series S as well. It just looks like they didn't include it here. So I think it was confirmed that that is not the Grand Inquisitor. It is someone else.
Fair, because they did look different.
Yeah, they look very different. Even from the Rebels version, looks very different.
Yeah.
So that's good.
That would have been a very artistic take on the Grand Inquisitor.
Grand Inquisitor looks different in everything he's in.
Yep.
Yep. And it is set 5 years after the events of the first game. And it does have BD1. And he's still being pursued by the Empire as one of the last remaining Jedi. And will expand on this series' dynamic combat in new and innovative ways, EA says in a press release. And they said the game director, Stig Asmussen, even before completing Jedi Fallen Order, our team had a vision of how to carry the adventure for Cal, BD, and the crew into the sequel. For Jedi Survivor, we are working in lockstep with the Lucasfilm Games to build on the legacy of Jedi Fallen Order. We're leveraging advanced technology to create more dynamic Jedi combat and cinematic storytelling to expand on Cal's story as he matures and survives during the dark times. We can't wait to share more about the game with the world later this year. So we'll probably get more of a story-driven thing. Probably late summer, autumn, maybe. Definitely looking forward to it. It's going to be released in 2023 and is going to be next gen only.
Feels kind of soon.
The first game came out in 2019, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
I guess it is about time.
2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, about 4 years. That's a pretty good time to develop, and it did get delayed from, it was originally going to come out later this year.
Really?
Yes. And we don't know what time frame in 2023 it is, but it seemed to do really well during the Christmas season, because I think it came out in October, if I remember correctly, October, November. And it sold really well. Like, it sold over 11 million copies or something like that.
Yeah, it's a great game.
It is. I mean, it was the reason why EA was like, you know what? These single player games are pretty good. I think we could make some money off of this.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm so looking forward to it. I like the direction that they're going for. This hooded figure looks a lot like Revan, which would be awesome. I don't know. I'm just getting Revan vibes from him or her if it's not Revan. I don't know. Maybe it's just my hope for this character, but it'd be so awesome if they did a tie-in. I mean, they're doing the remake. That could be awesome. I've also heard, again, from friend of the podcast, Bespin Bulletin, I believe, Darth Maul is apparently rumored to be in this.
Really?
Yes. So we had Darth Vader in the first one. It could be cool to see Darth Maul be in the second one as the main bad guy. The main big bad could be Maul, which I'm all for seeing more Maul. There was rumors, I think before the Disney acquisition, that they were going to make a Darth Maul game, and then those rumors picked back up after the Disney acquisition. I would love to see it. Darth Maul is such an awesome character. They've expanded on his story so much through the Clone Wars and even Solo. I think one of our most popular videos on Star Wars Uplink Shorts, the YouTube channel, is a video on how Darth Maul survived. And apparently, according to all of the comments of that video, so many people did not realize that he's still alive,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
which very much surprised me. It's one of those things. It's like when you are steeped into some Star Wars. Obviously, I mean, we're doing a Star Wars gaming podcast and talking about the shows and movies. You kind of forget that perspective of like most people have not watched the animated shows. Like the majority of people. I wonder too. Like I wonder if more people play the video. I would assume more people play the video games than watch the shows. Because if there was 11 million people that played or bought Jedi Fallen Order, I highly doubt 11 million people went through and watched the entirety of the Clone Wars or Rebels.
That's for sure.
Right? It's an interesting thought process. Because a friend of the podcast, Alex Damon, likes to put it this way. And he does this incredible Star Wars Explained YouTube channel. So if you've not watched Star Wars Explained, like go watch him, give him a shot. Fantastic. But he puts it this way. There's a funnel of Star Wars. At the beginning, you have the movies. And then as it shrinks, it shows how many people get to the ends. The ends would be the graphic novels. Like that's the smallest of the funnel. Then you've got the books. And then you've got I think he put the video games next up there. But I would probably switch it, honestly. I think... and that may just be both of our perspectives because he covers a lot of the shows, not so much the video games. We mainly cover the video games, but like in terms of revenue and money, and everyone's heard this because all of like the New York Times writers or the Bloombergs of the world that have like a video game division always like, well, the video game industry is bigger than the movies and the music industry combined. It's true according to certain reports, but like video game industry is massive. And I think as time has gone on, more people are playing video games than watching the shows, honestly. But I'd be interested, we're never going to see these notes, but I'd be interested to see what this looks like. And maybe that's changing from like Bad Batch. I think Bad Batch is a much more accessible place to get into the animated shows because it's more standalone.
You think so?
I think so.
I guess it's more...
it ties a lot to the Clone Wars, obviously.
Yeah. I guess it's a little bit more, like, easily digestible.
Yeah, because it's, like,
long
one season,
the others are.
And then there's upcoming the second season.
But I still think it's more niche than, like, any of the live-action stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because also in that funnel, it was the movies and then live-action shows or standalone movies.
Yeah.
And then there's the animated shows that comes after that. So, yeah.
It'd be interesting to know those statistics.
But yeah, Clone Wars is a lot to get through.
Clone Wars is a lot to get to. And I think maybe people... One thing, Clone Wars is the anthology, so there's like a right way to watch it instead of like release order. So they have story arcs that connect to each other, which is so complicated.
It's very complicated. And I think most people just start and stop at the Clone Wars movie, like the animated movie, because they made just the one.
Exactly.
So I think people just watch that and like, okay, good. I think I'm done.
It's not great compared to the show.
No, because it's just bad. Like this chunk.
It did its job. It set up the story, but like honestly, it's not very good. But yeah, I think it would be so cool to see, going back to what we were talking about, I think it'd be so cool to see Maul in a video game. It would be awesome too if you could switch perspectives, like you actually got to play as Maul, like hunting down Cal.
Oh my.
I think that would be a really fun gameplay mechanic, is like you get to switch perspectives, you get to see that Maul, and if they do ever have like a Maul video game, that would be the perfect like tease of like, this is what it could be like.
Did they do any of that in Fallen Order?
No, it is Cal throughout the whole thing. Yeah. But I think that could be what they're mentioning in terms of like using the new technology to advance the cinematic storytelling of the game, as well as the different mechanics available. I think it'd be really cool. What do you think's up with the mysterious person in the Bacta tank in the abandoned medical facility? It looks like
that I don't know. Why are Bacta tanks so hot right now? everyone.
They're
is
getting
found in
their
the Bacta tank.
spotlight in the sun now.
Goodness. I don't know. I'm intrigued. They look kind of like an anime character, and I'm very fascinated by that. So
they look pretty swole.
Yeah, they're pretty chunky.
And they've got tattoos or like wiring on one of their like shoulders.
You know, that would check out if they're gonna do more of like the cyborg look stuff.
Oh, it's so exciting. That trailer is very cinematic in a way that I didn't expect. Like, they're definitely going more of that darker, like they're definitely getting deeper into that darker side, because it's the dark times. The Clone Wars is over. The Empire won.
Cal's maturing. We're maturing.
Yes, that's a good point, because Cal's pretty young. Obviously, he's gone through a whole lot of life, but he is pretty young. It's 5 years later, so that's going to change a lot. We see a crash ship that they've been using.
Which could lead to my theory about them all being separated.
Yes. I think it'd be good.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. That teaser is 1 minute and 30 seconds. That includes
I feel like we got a lot, even though it really didn't say anything. I just like...
I'm excited for this not Grand Inquisitor character. Really cool. It sounds like Richard E. Grant, who did the one character in Rise of Skywalker, the new like Imperial Admiral guy that takes over from Hux, as well as played in the hit film The Little Vampire, which growing up was my favorite TV show.
Oh, so that's your connection.
Yes. Yep. He was the dad vampire in that.
Oh, gosh.
Let me know if you remember The Little Vampire with the kid from Like Mike. You didn't watch Like Mike, did you?
No, I did not.
They didn't get that in Canada.
We didn't get that channel.
I'm so looking forward to it. It's good to have some Star Wars games to talk about. I mean, we've gotten all these teases and announcements, but this is like the first tangible thing. We still don't know when Star Wars Hunter is coming out. They just, again, announced more regions and more stuff for their battle pass. So we still don't know when the heck that game is coming out.
What?
Very stupid. I don't understand
so careful about it. Like, or something, I guess.
They're releasing it in literally everywhere else. And you can play it. Like, you can get an emulator and play it on your PC.
Right.
I don't understand the whole thinking around it. I honestly don't understand mobile games, so that's probably part of it.
Yeah.
But this is really, it's a really strange rollout. It started in some really strange countries. It's...
No offense to those countries.
Sorry,
you're not
countries.
Strange.
It's just really weird for a Star Wars mobile game to be launched in a place that isn't the US, the UK first. Like, that seems like you'd want to do that first, but I guess not.
Maybe the stats were different. Maybe they've got a lot of like mobile players.
Mobile games are really big in China. They're really big in South America, I think, too. I don't know. Very strange. We still don't know what the heck is happening in terms of when it's coming to Switch.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be on Switch as well. Like, we literally have no details other than that one trailer that they announced it with in August of last year, the year before.
Oof.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
No, it's July or August of last year. It was a while ago. Good gravy. So yeah, that's a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
But hey, we've got Star Wars games to talk about now. Theorize about. Let us know your thoughts and theories on who that is and who this new Grand Inquisitor-like character is. Is that Darth Revan? I don't know. But let us know your thoughts. Contact uplinkpodcast.com. Comment down below in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. Now let's take a little bit of a break and talk about the third episode of Obi-Wan. This podcast is a production of Uplink Media Group. Uplink is a podcast network dedicated to highlighting the love and experience of gaming and pop culture. Check out our other shows, The Battlefield Show, Star Wars Uplink, and The Forge, the Halo Infinite podcast, as well as our YouTube channels for even deeper dives into Battlefield, Star Wars, and more. YouTube.com/Uplink Podcast and StarWarsUplink.com.
Only different in your mind. You must unlearn what you have learned.
It feels like Obi-Wan is starting to catch its stride. There we go. That's the phrase I was looking for.
Yeah.
Catch its stride.
And halfway through.
I think that's what's so funny about everyone's like, oh, just give it time. It's like we literally have 3 episodes left.
Yeah.
We're halfway through and we still don't know what the frick's going on.
Yep.
Characters don't seem very fleshed out yet. We don't know a whole lot of motivation for a lot of characters. Very odd. This episode, though, is so good. Mm-hmm. Like, it's the best so far, which is good. I mean, I think they're starting to figure out, like, oh, hey, this is the direction we want to go.
Right. Yeah, it's almost like the past 2 episodes were, like, we're literally in Obi-Wan's shoes. We don't know what's going on. We don't really care to know what's going on almost. Like, we're just kind of like,
really good point.
Keeping the blinders up, and so we're just literally going with, okay, this person needs me. I guess I will reluctantly go with him. Like, do the thing.
I guess I'll go.
And now that he's actually agreed, now the world's opening up to him and also to us, and now we know what's kind of starting to go on around here. I think it's, now that I've said that out loud, I feel like that's actually kind of an interesting way to
it makes me appreciate those first 2 episodes much more with that perspective on it.
But also, this has been the best episode so far.
Yes.
For sure.
We're finally getting somewhere. We're seeing some movement. We're seeing characters go forward. We're on another freaking sand planet. It looks a lot like Colorado or maybe really Utah or very sandy mountains with small shrubs. I mean, that's basically southern Colorado.
I mean, yeah. At least there are shrubs, though. It's not. We can't say it's complete desert. Greenery. But, yeah. It's rocky, small shrubs.
Yeah. Very weird. I don't understand the fascination with sand.
How do you feel about the mole guy?
I thought he was super funny.
Yeah.
He didn't kill him.
No, they didn't. Surprising.
So I assume we're going to see him again. What was his name? Like, Freck?
I don't even remember.
It was something like that. I thought it was fun to see an Imperial sympathizer. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
See someone that's like, I don't know if it was supposed to be a jab, but like, it looked a little bit like they were poking fun at like conservatives with the flag in the back.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, like a bumper sticker.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh gosh.
Like that was the vibe I got for it, and I love it. It's so funny.
Yep.
But like, I think that's something we haven't gotten in Star Wars is like we haven't seen like, oh yeah, there are actually people in the galaxy that like the Empire,
right,
that are profiting from it, that are experiencing great prosperity because of the Empire. Buddies with the stormtroopers.
Right.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that was a good take.
That was a fun nod, and to see that conflict within Obi-Wan of like, I just gotta kind of duck my head and try to get through this and see where it goes. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, it
was a good direction. Leia, as usual, fantastic,
leading the charge.
So good. Her character,
as she would.
She's such a great character.
She's doing so good. I'm like, yeah, you go, girl.
Yep. The odd chemistry between Obi-Wan and her is fantastic because he's just like, I don't even know how to respond or interact with this little child that's basically an adult at the age of 10. Like, this is so weird.
I love that she's not the one who like almost gets them caught. It was Obi-Wan because she's like, obviously I've got this in the bag, dude.
Yeah, come on, buddy.
Obi-Wan's the one with all the problems.
Have you ever ran away from home before?
Yeah.
You have people asking all kinds of questions all the time. Yeah, so that was really fun. I like the direction so far. Best episode yet. It feels like we're starting to get somewhere, and I look forward to the later half.
Yeah.
Now let's get into spoilers.
Oh, okay.
Let's chat some spoilers now. We see Vader. Vader is in this episode. We also get a mention of let's go to the fabulous channel Star Wars Uplink, where we released a video on this called "They Just Revealed a Fan Favorite Jedi from the Clone Wars" in Obi-Wan.
Episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi, while Kenobi, Princess Leia, and Tala hides in a hidden room meant for those who wish to escape from the Empire, Obi-Wan is told that other Jedis has also passed through this hidden room. He then goes to study the writings and symbols on the wall, only to see a friendly name.
Quinlan. There it is.
Quinlan Voss.
Wow.
Who is a really cool character. He is in, if you have a close eye, he's actually in Phantom Menace. He's sitting at one of the like cafe tables or something like that in the background.
What?
Yeah. As I can't remember if it's a deleted scene or if it was in the full episode. No, I think it's in the full movie. Yeah, you see Quinlan Voss in the background at one of the tables.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really cool character. It'd be awesome to see him in something because he's got a really cool story arc. Definitely a big fan. Chrissy Golden's book, The Dark Disciple, I think, is a really good look into that. Just great book in general.
Cool.
It's,
I love everything that she writes.
Yeah,
she does.
Christy Golden's such a good
some World of
writer.
Warcraft books, and I've liked every one of the ones that she writes.
Super good. It takes us an old script that they didn't use for Clone Wars, and then they made a book about it.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yes, really good.
Nice.
Really good fleshed out story. Highly recommend it. Came out a number of years ago, like 2014, 15, something like that. Yeah. But yeah, we see the mention of Quinlan Voss, which is cool. That opens up a whole new world of different possibilities for the show. We're starting to see, we still don't know. I'm using heavy quotation marks here. We don't know if the Grand Inquisitor is still alive. He technically is, according to the timeline, because he dies in Rebels, and Rebels takes place after Kenobi does. Mm-hmm. So unless there's a clone with a, I loved how Alex Damon put it in his video on the subject. They theorized that there was a clone of the Grand Inquisitor that has a bigger head, like in the show, and that's why we see him with a taller head in Rebels.
More brain.
Yep, exactly. The bigger. Every time he dies, he gets regened as a clone with a bigger head.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? This might just be Clone 1, 1.0.
He also becomes the face of Bo.
Oh, yes. Or the head just gets bigger and bigger.
Or the one dude in Marvel who's got the big head, MODOK. He's just a floating head with like tiny arms and legs.
Gosh.
Yeah. What did you think of the fight scene between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan?
I thought it was a good start, like for them to.
Why does everyone run so slowly?
I don't know. And like it's a wide open space. Yeah. So there's like.
Again, it feels like it's on a set, really hardcore again.
Sure, it feels like there's like dirt mounds, but also.
I was so confused as to where they were in relation to everything else.
Where are you going? Like, what? Keep running. Why do you keep looking back? Like,
yeah, it was clearly like we have this set up, so we're going to shoot these scenes, and then we're going to tear everything down and build it back up, and then we're going to shoot these scenes. Like, there was no real continuity in terms of it didn't flow very naturally. Yeah. It was like, okay, we're here. Let's shoot our scenes. And then cut, boom. Now we're here, and we're going to shoot these scenes. It's like,
you're doing pretty much the exact same thing, but.
I was very lost in terms of where he was, which maybe was the point because, again, putting in that perspective of we are Obi-Wan, I think makes a lot of the decisions a lot more digestible. Mm-hmm. I think that's a very good take.
Yeah. I feel like it was
Vader playing with him.
Yeah.
And it was like Obi-Wan was so caught off guard by it of like, oh boy, he's alive. He's big, and he's bad.
Yeah, it was honestly kind of hard to watch because you know who Obi-Wan was, and now we see him now versus a freshly angry Anakin made Vader. So it's this power struggle there.
Yeah.
So it's hard to watch because you don't want to see. We all want to see the I don't know.
They can't
the battle
have
of
the
the
big
heroes
fight.
again. But this is not the time. Like, this was not, no.
I think that's the most frustrating part about it is, like, they took away a lot of the impact that the eventual big fight that they're going to have is going to be. But they also kind of had to do it for Obi-Wan's character growth to realize that ultimately he's going to have to fight him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
So he didn't want to, and eventually he's going to have to because now they have Leia, Reva, the third sister, who still not all there
have
for
to
me.
Say too much this time.
Yes, which is again sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
We support her character or her as an actor. They just didn't give her a whole lot to work with. Mm-hmm. She's a weak character, and I wish they did more with her. She's going in a good direction. But it sucks that we're like, oh yeah, she was much better in this episode because she didn't say much.
But that only speaks to her acting. Like, she can act. This woman can act. Mm-hmm. It's just the scripts and what they're making her character do and say. It's like, it's just kind of flippant.
Weak. Not a whole lot of like, oh yeah, I can really feel for it. It's like, you're just... I know you're supposed to be like, oh yeah, you fought your way up here, but you're just sounding really entitled in a weird way.
Yeah. Yeah. She just seems kind of small.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. And,
I'm not really rooting for her. And like a good villain, in my opinion, you kind of want to root for him or you want to know their motivation so you can understand that. Motivations aren't really strong there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Especially like considering their motivations all done from an act that isn't actually impactful. Like killing the Grand Inquisitor. We all know from lore that he's still alive.
Right.
Or should be unless they're heavily retconning.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
She's the best Inquisitor we have.
Yeah, at least
frankly.
she has some things going for her. At least I feel
she's
passionate in the wrong way. But like the one dude,
was it fifth brother or
I
something?
think so.
Also, I don't know.
Then that other lady's just like,
she's just there.
She shouldn't even be there. You're doing nothing. You're not adding to anything. Like, why are you even there?
Because there must be 3 or something. I don't know. But man, yeah. I feel like we don't have enough background on these Inquisitors to really understand why and what they're really striving for. Like, is it really just to be the right hand of Vader? If so, we kind of need to like actually know that.
Yeah. Hopefully in the next episode, now that they have Leia, we see a lot of those motivations.
Right.
I think maybe that's the choice that they decided to make. If they don't go with that, like, oh yeah, we need to...
It just seems like we should know that by now.
Yeah.
Like, it just seems like...
We're halfway through the series. We're almost 3 hours into the show.
Yeah.
And we still don't know what the heck the Inquisitors are even motivated by.
And, like, why haven't we seen previously the Grand Inquisitor talking to Vader? Like, why haven't we seen some sort of, like,
Yeah, it was
interaction?
surprising for me that they're, like, vying to Vader so much. It's like...
Is that
okay?
Is that what we're doing? Is that...
Mm-hmm.
Is that the main thing? Like, I just kind of thought, from what I've seen, it seems like we're just hunting Jedi.
Also, the Grand Inquisitor, according to legend, actually, I think it's canon in a comic, or I think it's a comic. The Grand Inquisitor and Darth Vader have a battle, and the Grand Inquisitor almost wins.
Wow.
Or I think so, or it's pretty close. Yeah, the Grand Inquisitor, before he is officially the Grand Inquisitor, is on the search for knowledge. He is an ex-Jedi and left the Jedi Order because he wanted to continue searching deeper into the history and of the Force and wanted to have access to certain books in the library, but was not given access and felt that it was his right to continue searching deeper into all aspects of the Force, and became pretty negative around the Force, and left it, continued searching for that knowledge, found the Emperor, helped him out with his rise to power and all that fun stuff, and became the Grand Inquisitor. Again, double check my math here, but I believe that is the case.
That's very fascinating.
And they're not hinting at any of that.
Yeah, like this is just some random pawn that is in power. Like that's what the show is saying.
Yeah.
And who can get struck down.
But no, he's pretty beefy. He's got some power.
He's got a big noggin.
Not in this one. He hasn't built those brains yet.
Right. He hasn't been regenerated into a bigger head. Oh.
So yeah. He's got a lot there. We don't know it. Most people won't know it.
Yeah, I understand.
Majority of people don't even know. I was talking to a friend of mine who has not seen Rebels, and I asked him if he recognized or knew about the Grand Inquisitor, and he's like, no, I didn't even know the Inquisitors were things. It's like, okay, I'm not going to tell you the thing I was going to tell you if you don't have any of those contexts.
And that's hard. And I understand as when you're making a show about Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're not going to focus on the Inquisitors and their backstories.
Yeah, but they're also not focusing on Obi-Wan.
Yeah, it's true. But we kind of are. You know, like it's more so than the Inquisitors, obviously. But it just, there is this stuntedness to the show because we are hindered by this lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
And lack of history with these characters. Which is kind of strange because oftentimes we are just thrown into movies and shows without knowing things.
I think the thing is they aren't thinking of it as a self-contained thing. If they were thinking of it as a self-contained thing, we'd have a lot more of that tight-knit, like we know the motivations. Right. They're making the assumption of like, oh yeah, you've watched everything before and you know everything, so we don't have to explain anything very well or even show the motivations because you can draw your own. Like it's.
But no, even the ones who have watched these things and
it's like they aren't doing it.
It doesn't make any sense. Like it's still weak and not fleshed out.
Yeah.
But this episode was a lot better than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's just preface that again.
I think the thing is too, it's one of those frustrating situations where like we're going to have to continue waiting to find out. And honestly, halfway through the show, you should kind of have an understanding of what the heck's going on, what the motivations of the characters are, what the story is going forward with. Why are the characters doing the things that they're doing?
I mean, even McGregor has got it down.
Yeah.
Like we know why and how.
He plays such a good broken Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's exactly it. He's just broken. This is a broken Obi-Wan. So we get it.
And he's faced with his past. And that's the thing I want to see more of. Yeah. But I'm afraid that we won't get it. So I'm afraid to get my hopes up too high. Because we only have 3 episodes left.
Yep. And there's some big stuff that needs to happen.
Yes.
He needs to figure his crap out. And he needs to fight Vader again. That's pretty much the big stuff to happen. But still, it takes a while for that to happen. Now, he is getting back in touch with the Force a little bit.
He's calling out to Qui-Gon.
And we're starting to hear voices.
It'd be so awesome to see.
Even though it's more like memories, but it's still voices.
It'd be awesome to see Qui-Gon in it. It'd be so good. That'd be such a good reveal. Oh, yeah.
But how could that have stayed a secret, you know?
That's what I'm really hoping for.
I know. Same.
But I think because, what is the... Liam Neeson, the actor for Qui-Gon, has said in a few interviews recently that the only way he'd come back to play the character would be a movie. But
really,
Tales from the Jedi features Liam Neeson reprising the role of Qui-Gon Jinn. So, buddy, you're playing a little fast and loose there with your own timeline and story. Did you forget that you recorded audio for an animated TV show on the streaming service Disney Plus?
Disney Plus?
Or are you tricking us into actually being in Obi-Wan Kenobi. I've got your number. I'm dialing it.
They have been trying to keep everything very tight-knit, so...
Yeah. It's worked so far.
I have a grain of sand of hope.
Yeah.
That he could.
Just one.
Yeah. It's right there. That he could come back in his little ghostly form.
It would be super awesome.
That'd be great.
I would love it so much. But I think with that, call it an episode. Let us know your feedback on the most recent episode of Obi-Wan. Would love to hear your thoughts, opinions, theories on what's going to happen next. And we'll cover the next episode on the next episode. So make sure to stay tuned for that. If you are not already subscribed for free wherever you find podcasts and on our YouTube channel where you can watch the video version of the show every Sunday. And we record on Fridays. So if you want your feedback on the show, send us a message before Friday and we'll get to it and cover it on the podcast. As always, thanks for listening and may the Force be with you.